While I'm always excited when Herpa Wings announces models of the A318, this one is a little bit of a mixed bag for me. Find out why right after the drop. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A318 of Saudi Royal Flight. At the front of the box we have the cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and at the top of the box we have the Saudi branding. Then on the back side of the box, unfortunately, we have another cutout. This is unfortunately the piss poor continuation of this horrible box design from Herpa Wings. It looks terrible, it doesn't protect the model. Herpa, please reconsider. So the only thing we can say here of interest is simply that it is a limited edition. And before we get too far into today's review, it is worth mentioning that this aircraft model does come with a stand. And here she is, the Airbus A318 of Saudi Royal Flight, however in the standard livery of Saudia, the flag carrier of Saudi Arabia. Saudia does handle many of these special flights in either their Saudia Special Flight Service fleet or their Saudia Royal Flight Division fleet. Curiously enough, however, the A318 doesn't seem to be listed, at least not on Wikipedia, under either of these divisions, but according to airfleets.net, the aircraft has been with Saudia Royal Fleet since 2017. Should you, however, know more about this, then feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Now, if we take a closer look at the aircraft model itself and start off with the tail section, we find on the vertical stabilizer the Saudia branding. Then on the fuselage we have the full registration code of the aircraft, and at the very tail of the aircraft we have a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we then have the writing of Saudia, both in English and in Arabic. Then we also have the flag of Saudi Arabia. We have the Sky Team logo twice, of which Saudia is a member. We also have the IATA logo, and underneath the cockpit windows the company slogan, as well as the last two letters, or in this case the last two numbers of the registration code. Then we also have a little bit of detailing around the cockpit section itself, although it is rather bare-boned. We find the cockpit windows and the window wipers have been printed on. The engine nacelles have been kept in all white, but do carry the Saudia branding and of course also the silver leading edge, but that's all for printed detailing, a little bit underwhelming. Also underwhelming is the physical detailing. Although it doesn't look bad, it's clearly not the current standard of Herpa Wings. These are old engines that Herpa decided to add anyway, and if I should try to be a little bit diplomatic about this, I would say I find it quite odd. Then on the fuselage, just above the wings, we have the emergency exit printed on, which leads us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at. And we start off here with the top side, where we have the different flap slats and spoilers carved out very nicely. We also have the marking for the emergency exit printed on very nicely. The underside of the wing, I think, is also pretty decent. Here we also find the full registration code of the aircraft once again. And then we have the wingtip fences here with a little bit of print, however, that normally does look much more crisp and nice from Herpa Wings across their A320 family aircraft models. I wonder why it doesn't on this A318. And then we have the landing gear, and that is the standard landing gear that Herpa used around 2008. And that's a good thing, because it looks much better than the landing gear we have today, especially the front landing gear. However, it is also not without any fault, because in this case the front landing gear has been mounted really poorly. It looks like the aircraft is about to take off, and this is an issue that has affected many of the recent A318 releases from Herpa Wings. However, it is a very easy fix. Herpa just needs to have a little bit of a better quality control and make sure that their workers mount the landing gear correctly, because when they do, it actually looks absolutely fantastic. And then last but not least, we also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here in the backside of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A318 of Saudi Royal Flight in the livery of Saudia from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, it's an A318, so there's a good chance that I will like it in any case, but there are a few things we should talk about. The print quality itself is actually pretty decent, however not without any fault. The cockpit windows, in my opinion, are just a little bit too big, and the print on the wingtip fences is really not as sharp as it should be. The physical detailing itself is a whole different story. It's not bad, but it's just not as good as the current standard from Herpa Wings, because, well, let's face it, it's not a new model. Yes, it's sold as a 2020 release, but of course the mold itself is from 2008 or even older. We can see that on, for example, how the wings are mounted to the fuselage, the engines that are clearly subpar, or the wingtip fences for that matter. But it's of course also not all bad, because what I definitely do prefer is how the mold is shaped around the cockpit section. It actually looks like an A318, unlike any of the current molds that Herpa is using for the A320 family aircraft models. But then of course we have the landing gear. Yes, it is the much better looking and much more realistic looking landing gear, however it is being let down by the poor quality control of Herpa Wings. If the workers of Herpa had just mounted the front landing gear correctly, it would have been an awesome model. However, much too often they don't, and quality control of Herpa Wings seems to be non-existent. So if you have some money laying around and you really don't know what to do with it, sure, this might be an aircraft for one's collection. However, the aircraft is retailing around 26 euros, which is a ridiculous price from Herpa Wings, and the aircraft is definitely not worth that money. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.